I'm so excited to be talking with you today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us your name, your pronouns, and your pets.
Excellent. So hi, I'm Joey Lusvardi. I use he, him pronouns. I am a certified cat behavior consultant, and as of yesterday, I am a professional feline trainer accredited through the Pet Professional Guild. So,
Hey, yay!
yay! I understand cats, I think, probably, maybe, hopefully. Um, and so my cats actually happen to be nearby, so I can introduce them. This is Poutine.
Hi, Poutine.
Say hello, Poutine. Hi, Poutine. Hi, Poutine. And then this is Prozac. He
What?
is napping. He's tired from being cute because being cute is exhausting.
I imagine it would be when you do it all the time.
Yeah, like I don't know what that's like personally from like personal experience, but like he's cute and he's always sleeping. So I'm assuming that's the explanation.
It seems logical to me. So tell us a little bit about what kind of work you do and how you got started.
Yeah, so I help humans and their cats figure out why cats are doing things that their human or that yeah that their humans do not like very much. And so this might be things like not using a litter box, or it might be things like the cat is biting them, or the cats are fighting. That's actually probably the most common thing that I work on with people on. And I got started because my soul cat Zoloft, who is no longer with us, he had some aggressive behaviors towards me. He was stalking me around my apartment, biting me, and I was terrified and I didn't know what to do. And thankfully, his vet was very helpful with offering a few suggestions. She suggested doing clicker training and food puzzles, and she helped me recognize that I was really burnt out and I was not paying enough attention to him, and I was the problem, in other words. So I really liked doing that, and I was like, man, like I want to start helping other people and their cats, and I spent a lot of time and money studying cats, and here we are. That's the quick version of this. But I am now actually quite grateful to Zoloft for being aggressive towards me because he set me on this path and it's been a wild ride. And um, yeah, I never thought I would say that I was grateful that a cat bit me, but it worked out. I had actually been training with him prior to that, but that was more for fun, and we just high-fived and enjoyed each other. And then I was like, oh, I can do this in like a serious way. It's not just me being a weirdo that training my cat.
Cat training is a thing. Who knew? Because everyone tells us cats can't be trained, and then we discover actually that's not the case.
And they are filled with lies.
Similar to you, I started my training journey or my cat behavior consultant journey because one of my cats displayed aggressive behavior towards me that I had not experienced before. And I was like, oh, this is different. What is this all about? Where's this coming from? There's got to be a better way we can relate to our cats. And that's what started it all for me to be able to help people relate to their cats better. So that's so cool that that was an inspiration for you as well. Cats can teach us so much.
We learn so much from them. When I first got him, I had no idea what the heck I was doing, and I didn't know where to turn for like information because you Google things and it just is like a disaster of terrible advice or things that like I just didn't feel comfortable doing because it went against my whole like worldview of being kind to animals.
Well, that touches on our topic for the day. So we've been talking back and forth a bit about the use of punishment and deterrence in cat training. So first, let's kind of define what do those terms mean?
Yeah, so a punishment, people sometimes use it as a substitution for consequence and typically bad consequence. That's not how we would typically think of it. Punishment to me as a cat trainer means something that decreases a behavior. So that's typically people's goal is to decrease the behavior. And it might be things that don't seem bad, or there are things that might even seem good to us that could still be punishing to the cat because it may decrease a behavior. Colloquially, we typically think of it as like discipline and like things to make the cat understand that they're wrong or that what they did was bad. And cats don't have a sense of morality, so they don't understand that.
Yeah.
Um, and then deterrence would be things that would try and drive a cat away from a spot or from doing something or something that's kind of annoying or something that may cause them pain or something that would like, unfortunately, these products exist, but like shock mats for cats or other things that it's designed to keep the cat away from a location or to stop doing something in that location.
Yeah. Okay. So why do you think punishment and deterrence are so often like the go-to strategy for people? Why do we reach for those things?
Yeah, our focus is that we want to stop a behavior or we want to stop the cat from doing something. So your cat is on the counter, you want to stop them from being on the counter. You want them to not do that again. Your cat is biting you, you want them to stop biting you. Your cat is fighting with another cat. We want them to stop fighting with the other cat. We focus on the stop, 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 stop. And our focus is on okay, we need to do something so that they are annoyed or so that they're scared or we have to spook them away from there because otherwise there's no other way to do this. There's just no other choice. You have to scare your cat. Like you have to stop them from going on there. I had a client not too long ago that we were talking, and one of the big things that we were trying to do was reduce stress in their cat because it was impacting the behavior that we were working on. And they mentioned using tinfoil, and I was like, I wouldn't suggest doing that because it's going to cause your cat stress, and your cat is going to, and they very quickly were like, well, I would rather my cat did not do this other thing that they were using the tinfoil for. And I was like, I understand that. That's, a reasonable thing to be concerned about, but there are other ways that you can do that would accomplish the same goal and are not going to create problems for the cat because inevitably they end up creating a lot of issues. They're not risk-free. And I don't think people realize, first of all, just the negative impact that it has on their cats, and that matters for them because they're not going to like what happens when their cat's behavior gets worse. Or they're going to be like, I'm intending to punish the cat. But the cat is like, I actually really like this thing. Thank you for paying attention to me or for this fun game that you're playing with me. And the behavior increases, so it just doesn't end up working. Or they don't realize the impact of stress on cats' behavior. And I think a lot of the times people don't think about things that to us as behavior consultants and trainers are like, well, duh.
It's something
Thing,
that's obvious to us.
yeah, things like, oh, train them to do something else or train them to do something that's not compatible or change the environment so then the behavior is less likely to happen. It's something people sometimes look at me like I asked them to, I don't know, eat a bowl of ice cream with a stranger or something, that I look like I'm being just a weirdo by doing this. I have had clients before who I have explained very explicitly, like, the reason I'm having you do this is because it's going to replace the behavior, it's going to do something else. And I will get emails later that I will even put it in their behavior plan that this is why you're doing this. And then I will get an email a week later and they're like, we don't understand why we're doing this. And
Hmm.
because I'm not focused directly on the this is how you stop the behavior. And it's not that I'm not addressing the behavior, it's that I'm addressing the root cause of this, and I'm trying to get the behavior to go away in a way that actually is going to be effective long term. It's not going to cause the cat stress more. And if you look at the evidence, it's going to work better.
Yeah. Why do people get the impression that punishment is gonna work or that we should do this?
Yeah, people have heard that it's worked for others. People are often very loud about being like, well, get out the spray bottle, like just spray the cat, or, whatever. It's something that people have sometimes seen success with it, which I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, no, they never work. It's just they have other issues, and they often just don't work as well as people think that they do.
It sometimes provides some reinforcing feelings for the person who's doing it because they feel like, oh, I'm conquering this situation or I'm being the master in this situation. And like, really, if you thought about it from the cat's perspective, if you think about a situation where you were punished, what were the emotions that went with that? And do you think there would have been a way to change your behavior without implementing that punishment and not damaging the relationships? So definitely, like, in order for it to be effective, punishment needs to be sufficiently negative. Like you said, sometimes a cat actually likes whatever it is you're doing. Like, oh, silly cat, get off the counter, attention. So it has to be sufficiently negative, and then it has to be consistently applied, and it has to be immediate. Because if you come home and yell at the cat for having peed on your couch while you were away and you try to put their face in it, they don't know why you're doing it, what you're doing. They don't connect it with their behavior. They're just
You're
gonna,
just being a jerk. Like, there's
yeah,
no, you're just being mean at that point. It's not actually doing anything.
yeah, it just and sometimes people who genuinely mean well can't find a lot of good information online. So they feel like they have to do this. But then at some point, like you, they're like, this just doesn't sit right. This doesn't feel right to me. And I know we can do better. So tell me a little bit, you said there's risks when we use punishment. What could go wrong?
Oh, Misty, what could go wrong?
What
Oh,
could
that.
possibly go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Well, I mean, the first thing is it could not work. Like, there's always the possibility that it's just not going to work. And I want to be clear about that because sometimes I'll hear people who are like, oh, yeah, it's working. And I'm like, I actually don't think it's working, even though the behavior will stop in the moment because the cat continues to do the behavior or the cat does the behavior when they're not there. And I'm like, do you want to keep just having to do this all the time and be frustrated and angry? It just isn't actually working. I did use tinfoil the other day with poutine because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's just going to do nothing. And guess what he did? He ignored it. He actually tried licking it, and I had to pull it away from him really quickly because I was like, I don't want you eating tinfoil. Shockingly, it doesn't seem to work very often. That's not even getting into the whole it backfiring on you thing, which,
Yeah.
woof, holy smokes. I see this a lot with people who are trying to do some form of punishment with their kitten, typically, who is being play aggressive, which is of the Poutine, sir, Poutine, what are you doing, my sir? Hey, should we do something else, Poutine? Like play with a toy instead of harassing the plant? Thank you, Poutine. Thank you, Poutine. Look,
Action.
Poutine is not bothering my spider plant anymore, and I didn't have to be mean to him.
Yay.
So backfiring on cats. So like kitten that's just trying to play, which play is pretty violent for cats sometimes.
Yes.
And the kitten's just doing a normal cat behavior. So people will be like, well, I'm going to spray him, which your cat, first of all, is probably going to be like, well, this is a fun game. You're paying attention to me. Or you're increasing arousal, which you do not want in a cat that's trying to be playful with you, that you do not want them to be trying to be playful with you. Or the other thing that can happen is it could go from being like, okay, this is playful to being like, oh, I'm scared of you, like prepare to die.
Mm,
It very quickly could switch from a, playful, easily managed type of behavior to, oh, I am going to go after. you because I'm scared of you, and I'm going to bite you because I feel like I need to be defensive now.
Defensive aggression. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen both in reaction to spray bottles, actually. I've seen it cause a cat to become very fearful and to the point where it wasn't that she didn't want to be on those surfaces. It was anytime you reached for something, she would flinch. And it's like, oh,
Yep.
crap, we done. And then the other thing that I saw was my cat Linus, which is what started me on this journey to becoming a behavior consultant myself, is we used a spray bottle on him when we first got him and he was a young kitten because again that was what we knew at the time and that was what we thought was the way that you discipline cats and his reaction was the complete opposite. It was that defensive aggression. He was like, oh, you're going to spray me, are you? Oh, we'll just see about that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, this is not working. Like I haven't seen this before. There's got to be a better way to do this. And that's what helped me realize that there absolutely is.
Okay, real talk here for a second. I spray bottles drive me nuts. I wish people would stop saying like they're a good idea, and I wish people would stop using them. I'm not saying you're a bad person for having done it before. I sprayed Zoloft when I first got him because people were like, you have to. I tried it like 3 times. I felt so guilty. I was like, this is terrible. I hate it. I'm not doing it.
There's way too many risks with using punishment. It damages your relationship with the cat and makes them scared and stressed, can exacerbate behavior problems. So, how can we do better?
Oh, so many ways. Asking yourself, is this being, kind to the cat, or what is the outcome for the cat? Because the results aren't the only thing that matters. And yes, that includes for things like aggression, where it even if your cat is biting you or doing other things that could objectively be dangerous, I don't think it justifies being mean to the cat, especially because you're reacting to them being, scary by creating more fear. And it's not going to help. And at the end of the day, you're not addressing the underlying problem. And there are, in 99.99999% of situations, I don't want to say always because that's too absolute, but in the extreme majority of situations, there's a better option. You just have to know what to do. So, for example, thinking of a cat that's being aggressive towards you, I always suggest that people take a large flattened cardboard box and stick it between them. And people will be like, "Well, how do I get the cat to stop biting me?" Well, you could always stick it between you and the cat and pry them off, which is still kinder than like just scaring them or just spraying them. And it's physically going to separate you from the cat, so it's safer. You're not having the same risks that you would with like using a spray bottle or using other things. And people will be like, well, I can't move the like it fast enough. Okay, get something bigger or try a different object. And you may have to try a couple of things. And that's one of the things that people will say about using some of the kinder, more effective methods is they'll be like, well, it didn't work immediately. Okay, it's not going to work immediately like all the time, but it's going to work better long term. And working with your cat rather than against them works better. And it might be something like modifying the environment or figuring out what is the need that the cat is trying to get met that you need to address, because at the end of the day, the cat is telling you something. It might be that they're bored or that they don't have enough scratching objects to scratch that are acceptable, or that they're scared, or that they're hungry. And it's okay that your cat has needs.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
It's
shouting from
like
the rooftops, Joey.
we know now in the year of our Lord 2025 that cats have needs and that will get bored. And when they get bored, bad things will happen. And you will not like the way that that turns out.
Let's say someone is concerned about their cat jumping onto the stove or the kitchen countertops for safety and sanitary reasons. What are some ways that they could keep the cat off of those surfaces and address the cat's needs to be able to be up high and in the middle of all the action with the family, but keeping them safe?
Totally. So this is one I hear a lot, and people are like, "Oh, well, I have to keep the cat safe." Fun fact, you can do that without being a jerk to your cat. And I mean, even things like annoying the cat are still kind of rude and cause stress in the cat. So people will try and do tinfoil or use those stupid motion activated air canisters and be like, oh, this is fine because it doesn't physically hurt the cat. I had a client once who I was at their house and the cat was peeing on the couch and they had one of those stupid motion activated air canisters on their couch and they didn't say it because they were like, oh, I forgot. And I didn't realize it. So I sat down and holy crap, that thing was scary. I jumped. Physically, I guess the cat might be safe, but it's not a humane alternative. Like people try and, especially the companies that make it, try and sell it as being, oh, this is a humane alternative, and it's not. People will often, go for those things when really there's a lot of options of things that you can do. So, for example, if you're concerned about your cat going on the stove when you're not using it, you can get a silicone stove cover that protects the stove. That way, if they do go on there, no big deal. You can get little things to cover the knobs on the stove so your cat can't mess with them. That they are baby proofing items that are very easy to find and they're not super expensive and they work really, really well. You can also figure out, gee, what is the cat trying to do? And probably it's trying to either be near you or to climb higher because cats have a natural need to climb. So you can give them another place to go nearby that's high up. And if you don't want to put a cat tree in your kitchen, which is very reasonable, you could get a flat-topped garbage can and train them to go sit on that instead. You could give them someplace just outside your kitchen to go to. You could give them a alternative activity to do that's going to be more appealing. You could have someone play with them. You could turn on an automatic toy. You could give them a food puzzle to distract them. There are so many different things that you could choose to do. Honestly, even just shutting them in the other room with something to do and something exciting while you're cooking and until the stove is cooled down, that's much kinder than spraying them or using a shock mat or using spikes or any number of other things. I really just don't see it as being a acceptable option in a lot of cases, especially because people often have tried one or two things, and if they haven't worked, they're like, well, now I have to use the punishment or I have to use the deterrent. And no, you really don't. And I'm sorry, this is maybe a little bit of a hot take, but part of having cats and part of having pets is sometimes we have to do things that change our environment in ways that maybe we don't love. I have a litter box right by my bed because I need a second litter box, and it is a spot that is where the cats are a lot. And it's the most convenient spot for the litter box for me. You know what? I suck it up and I scoop it and I add a little bit of activated charcoal into it to help, reduce the odor, and I make sure I maintain it very well. And it's part of having cats. I would love not having a litter box right by my bed, but I love my cats. I want to have cats around, and it's part of having them. I'm sorry, but you need a scratching post. You need places for your cats to climb. You need to have cat things, and that might mean having things that make your home look different than how it would in a purely ideal world. It is part of having cats, especially cats, because the environment is super important to them and you have to have cat stuff. It's not optional. And if you are trying to get away without that because of aesthetics, or if you're declawing your cat because of, you want them to not scratch your couch and you're not attempting other things first. I come on.
Yeah, we can do better.
There are options out there, and there are people like the two of us who put out great resources for cat behavior information that you can find ways to address their behavior that are not super, super mean to the cats. And nowadays, there are really nice looking cat
There are
furniture
really
items that you can get. You can find cat furniture that blends into your home. And again, I'm sorry, but you are going to have to make your home look slightly different. It's part of having cats that's not avoidable. And if it's because your partner came in with the cats and you don't like that, think of it as being for your partner, not for the cats. Like, if nothing else, but like that's part of living with another living creatures. We have to make changes. And
Exactly.
I don't look at it as being an acceptable reason to be like, no, I don't want to have my home look like cats live there. Well, cats do live there.
Cats
That
do
end
live
of the day is cats do live there. Come to a compromise in living together with your cat because it ultimately benefits you. I mean, end of the day is that like you get a cat that's not going to be annoying, that's not going to bite you, that's not going to take a dump on your table. Like, there's a lot of benefits to being nice to your cat, and you're not going to end up causing another behavior concern that you are probably going to like less.
there. Yeah. No, I think that ties back to the conversation we had on my interview with you of we're starting to recognize more and more there's this cultural shift. We're starting to recognize that having a pet is in many ways a relationship. And just like you would make compromises or changes to live with a partner or to live with children, you would do the same thing for pets. People who have kids, they don't try to hide the fact that they have kids.
For the people who don't think that like their cats or their pets are children, or they're not like, oh, these are my fur babies, that's okay. That's fine. You still have to meet their needs. Think of it as being like a compromise that you would make for a roommate. If you want to maintain a good relationship with that roommate, you have to change your behavior. For example, if you have a two-bedroom apartment with a roommate, if I had a roommate and I had a second bedroom, I would love to take their room and turn it into a crafting room. But no, it's part of having a roommate is I can't be like, okay, roommate, you get to sleep on the couch. They would not be happy about that. That's part of having roommates. That's part of living with other people. It's part of living with other living creatures. If you don't want to make those changes, then get like an app where you take care of pets. Go get a stuffed animal, live by yourself. Like get plants. Actually, even plants you have to make changes for. You have to have like windows and you have to keep them open, and sometimes you have to get plant grow lights, you have to buy fertilizer, you have to keep temperature at a certain temperature, you have to have humidity. You don't get to just like set the plant up unless you want the plant to die, which would be silly. That's a waste of money. Send me that money instead of buying plants that you fully intend to neglect and not let them thrive because, you know, I would like to buy myself some plants.
Other living things have needs, and you don't get to just decide to bring home another living creature and not intend to do your best to meet those needs. There are going to be times when we fall short, but when you bring home another living thing, you should be seriously committed to doing your best to meeting their needs. Aquariums, they obviously take up space that
They
I
do.
use for other things, but they are housing fish that I love and tend to and enjoy observing. And every time that I get grumbly about cleaning their tanks, I remind myself that they did not choose this life and they can't just go somewhere else. So if I want them to be healthy and happy and thriving, I need to do my part and take care to keep their tank clean. So stuff
You
like
are solely responsible for every aspect of their life,
yes.
and you need to take care of them.
So what are your favorite kinds of cases to work on as a behavior consultant?
I I really like things where people come in and they are willing to learn and they are excited about trying different things because I ask people to do a lot of different weird things. I really like play aggression or normal cat behaviors that are problematic to us.
Mhm.
Um, I also love vicariously shopping through my clients. So anything where I get to be like, here's how you get cat shelves or catios, or I get to talk about cat products and I get to have those types of conversations. I love that. I do have a soft spot for aggressive behaviors. And when I get the right clients who are dedicated and committed and willing to stick it out, and they're understanding that it's a long process, it's going to take months, they are going to have to do work. I do Oh, do I even want to say this out loud? I do like reintroductions when I get the right clients. I do not like it when people get mad at me because I tell them it's going to take more than one session and it's going to be a long process and they're going to suffer. I mean, they're going to have to put in some work.
Yeah.
Um, but again, those are frustrating.
Mhm.
Um, I really like the ones where it's a good fit and people have realistic expectations because they're really cool to see them work out.
And what projects are you working on currently that you're
Oh,
excited?
what projects am I not working? I'm kidding.
You sound like me, Joey.
But I did just bring back one of my popular Instagram series, but on YouTube. It's called Joey Kills Everyone's Fun, where I take something that people are like, oh, this is a fun thing that we do for our cats. It's cute and it's adorable. And I talk about why it's actually mean. I get a lot of people who are like, well, why does this matter? I think it's fun. Can't people just enjoy it? No, your cat hates it.
Yeah, you're
Um,
stressed out.
once you know better and once you've heard, hey, maybe this isn't the best idea, it's just not acceptable to keep doing it. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not okay. Especially when there are other methods. And in the extreme majority of cases, people have not exhausted the other methods. And it just is so frustrating. I don't understand why people are so invested in these stupid freaking spray bottles.
So what should people do with their spray bottles if they have spray bottles? What could they use them for?
They should toss them in the trash. Or if you don't want to do that because waste is a problem and like they do have actual uses, you could use them to spray some plants and grow some cat grass for your cat. Spray
Absolutely.
plants, not cats.
I like that.
Or you could spray other people who are using their spray bottles on their cats and create a giant spraying circle. Um, Maybe don't do that. Maybe kindly explain to them why it's not a good choice.
Maybe if
But
they were sprayed in the face, they would realize how annoying it is.
yeah, maybe if everyone had to go like have those air canisters sit by them and not know why they're going off, just it doesn't make sense. No one tells them why, and they're just confused and scared and startled. And they're trying to get a need met, then maybe they would understand why they're not a good idea.
We're helping people to understand their cat's needs better so that they can realize that they have so many better options instead of
So
using
many.
spray bottles on their cats. Where can people find you and find your content?
Yes, I am all over the place, metaphorically and literally. So my business is Class Act Cats. My website is classactcats.com. I am on YouTube at Class Act Cats. I am on Facebook at Class Act Cats. I'm on Instagram at Class Act Cats. I'm on TikTok at Class Act Cats. I'm on Pinterest at Class Act Cats. I have a LinkedIn for my business, Class Act Cats. Um, I I'm on Blue Sky at Class Act Cats. I have a blog that I've got a bunch of like resources and just things on different topics. And I've got things on training and cat products. And like I've got a whole series on grief dedicated to my buddy Zoloft, who I miss a lot. And I have a ton of free resources out there. And those are the best places to find me.
I love that you have the consistency of your business name across all those different platforms, so it's really easy for people to find you.
Consistency is good. We love consistent. Cats like predictability, and I feel like sometimes people like that too.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today about this really important topic of why we don't need to use punishment with our cats because it's not that effective. It has a lot of risks. There's so many better options.
And I challenge everyone out there, next time you're thinking about reaching for a punishment, try and figure out what can you get your cat to do instead? How can you distract them? How can you redirect them? How can you do something different that isn't mean to your cat? I have yet to hear a situation that someone I genuinely was like, yeah, you don't have another choice that is going to be just as effective, if not more effective, and isn't going to be kinder to the cat. So there's no reason you need to use punishment.
So when you go to reach for that spray bottle, instead stop yourself and think, what is the need that's here and how can I address that need? How can I redirect this behavior to something that's more effective? We don't need to punish or shame ourselves for our old behavior, but we need to retrain ourselves
No,
to do something better.
a lot of people don't know better. And I challenge people to, even if you don't know better, try and improve.
Well, thank you again so much for this time. It's been fun talking about such an important topic, and I'm glad that your cat buddies came to say hello to us during our chat.